Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So, welcome back. Most of us in the U.S., we just celebrated 4th of July, had a long weekend. Yesterday was the first time in many, many years where I actually didn't stream or put out a video. But we are back, of course, talking about what's going on with the world, with the U.S. economy, with Bitcoin's uphill battle still with Peter Schiff's bank closure and with another crypto lender who has become insolvent. So let's talk about all of these things and more. Smash up the like, subscribe to the channel, make sure you hit that notification bell to get notified of all my streams. Follow me on social media, check out CryptosRUs.com, and follow the brand new Clips channel. Good morning, guys. Welcome. Hopefully you guys, I think a lot of you guys are from the U.S., but for those of you guys that are not in the U.S., you probably didn't celebrate 4th of July. But anyways, we are about 10 minutes away from market open. Right now, Bitcoin is roughly the same spot this weekend. Although yesterday, it looked like Bitcoin was climbing up once again above 20,000. Looked like, hey, could have continued, but unfortunately, because of today, looks like it's going to be a brutal day with U.S. markets. Bitcoin, unfortunately, got dragged down once again. So right now, like I've been covering for many months, the U.S. economy is just absolutely in a free fall right now. There seems to be no real strength anywhere. You have a few days where it's good, and then all of a sudden things turn around. Wall Street seems to not know what to do. Right? It's not just Wall Street. It's around the world. So if you look at today, well, it's probably going to be somewhat bloody. But you look around the world, I saw this: a euro slides to a 20-year low. There's basically parity between the euro and the USD. And I don't even remember the last time this has ever happened. So obviously this is not good. And one of the reasons why the DXY is so high is because it's pegged or compared to the euro and other European currencies that are all not doing so well right now, because there's a lot of fears about recession. And not only that, the main driver is inflation and how the central banks are reacting. So in the countries or zones like the Eurozone, where the Fed or the central bank, the ones that are not raising rates as aggressively as Powell, their currencies are devaluing right now. They're actually going down against the U.S. So it's kind of like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, because if you do raise rates a lot, like what's happening in the U.S., well, of course, you get a lot of economic slowness. But if you don't raise rates, like the euro or let's say Japan refuses to raise any rates at all, the Japanese yen getting destroyed, absolutely destroyed, and people are really worried about what's going to happen in Japan. So it's one of those things, like you gotta find the right balance, I guess, right? But this is all leading up to something, and we're going to see what that something is. And many people think it's deep depression or possibly deep recession or possibly depression. Let's hope it doesn't ever come to that. That the U.S. is hopefully going in the right direction, doing the right things. Powell's leading the way. Fingers crossed, knock on wood, that things will get better. But right now, it just seems like there's just a lot of uneasiness out there. And here's another thing that's about housing, right? How housing has not been doing so well. But will it compare to what happened in 2008? That's what people want to know. Are we going to get another housing bubble that's going to be on top of everything else? And for most part, the consensus is no, that it won't get nearly as bad, because back before 2008, there were a lot more leverage, and there's people that took out so many loans and owned like 10 houses at once. And that's why when things collapsed, it collapsed really badly. But since then, supposedly the banks got smarter about handing out mortgages and there's a lot less leverage and the supply is still low. So even though housing prices have started coming down, are we going to get back to 2008 levels? Probably not. Probably not. All right, so just want to start out with those things. If you are a Tesla person, well, before that, I saw also this. Mark Zuckerberg issues a dire economic warning to Meta employees. And not only that, he was quoted this. I think some of you guys may decide that this place isn't for you. And that self-selection is okay with me. Realistically, there are probably a bunch of people at the company who shouldn't be here. So Zuck is not holding back anymore. I guess he's sick of all the criticism of Meta and Facebook and I don't know what else is going on, but he's basically saying like, hey, you don't want to be here, just leave. I don't care. You probably shouldn't be here anyways. That's his new stance. So quite interesting. All right, now moving to Tesla. Tesla did deliver their Q2 delivery numbers somehow over the weekend. I don't know why it was delivered over the weekend. They should have just waited. But, I didn't think the number was that bad. They delivered 254,000 vehicles, which is still like a 50% gain from last year. But people are thinking, well, that's not good because it's actually down about 4,000 vehicles from Q1. So this is the first time in Tesla's history where they didn't have a greater number, with a new quarter, basically. I guess they went down quarter to quarter, which I think this is a nothing burger because Elon himself has said there's a lot of supply chain issues, so I don't know if this is such a big deal, but there's a lot of people spreading FUD about it. JP Morgan is saying that Tesla shares could fall 40% because of this one Q2 miss, and it was only like a 4,000 car miss. So I think this is one of those situations where FUD is being spread because JP Morgan and others probably just want to buy more Tesla at this point. But also, just want to share that. All right. Now, what else is there? Unfortunately, another crypto lender seems to go under, and it happened to be one of my partners, and that's Vauld. Now, I did tell you guys that this day and age, with what's going on with crypto, we got to be very careful and safeguard our own crypto. I've been telling you guys about getting familiar and getting a hardware wallet and mobile wallet. Unfortunately, this is the time. You just don't know what's going to happen. So Vauld is a smaller lending company backed by Coinbase and Peter Thiel, right? It's one that I was using for a long time. But unfortunately, they have just come out over the weekend, no, actually yesterday, saying that due to 198 million being withdrawn from the platform since June 12th, that they are facing some financial challenges and volatile market conditions. And unfortunately, they have just stopped withdrawals from their client base. And I don't have any more information. I was not warned of this, although I did tell you guys since the Celsius debacle to be safeguarding your own crypto. One after another, we're seeing more and more lending companies go under due to everything that has happened. But I don't think this is just going to be limited to lending companies. There will be other crypto projects overall and possibly exchanges that could see this happen too. So right now, it's just one of those times you just have to be careful with your own crypto. Now, on top of this, Nexo seems to be trying to grab all the headlines because when Celsius closed down withdrawal, Nexo also said that they're going to buy their assets, right? But at that point, they said the timeline was only 7 days, which is ridiculous. Now, Nexo is coming out and saying, okay, we'll go buy Vauld, right, and give it 60 days, although they didn't say how much they were offering and so forth, right? But Nexo is just like jumping around trying to buy out everyone. And, I've said this too. Nexo has to be careful, even though they're showing like, hey, we're okay. We got lots of money. Don't worry about it. But right now, as we see, there's a ton of withdrawals everywhere Bank runs are happening everywhere. Okay, it's not just with some of these lending companies, but it's with everyone, all centralized platforms out there, and rightfully so. And I won't get to Peter Schiff because I think it's an important point. But right now is not time to be, what do you call it? Cocky. Let's just put it that way, right? But we'll see. Some people have been using Nexo for quite some time. I think they're based in Belgium. Maybe they are in a very good spot, but as a crypto lender, I would still be very careful about Nexo or anyone else that I haven't covered before. And this includes anyone that gives out passive interest too. So you got to throw like Gemini in there. You throw Coinbase in there. You throw, who else? Crypto.com. There's a lot. There's a lot out there. All right. And as for Celsius, I don't know where they're coming up with the funds, but they seem to keep finding more funds to pay down their DAI loans. So their liquidation price has now dropped to $5,000. So many people thought it was previously at $12,000. Market open. Previously, it was at $12,000, and many people thought Bitcoin had to drop to $12,000 before it sees a true bottom, before it could recover. But now they dropped to $5,000, so it's basically next to impossible for that to happen. Now, where is Celsius getting all this money from? I don't know. I don't know where they're getting hundreds of millions out of the blue. It could be because, the Celsius token has been, short squeezed, as people on Twitter want you to think. And Celsius is utilizing their SEL tokens and selling that off to pay down loans, which wouldn't be a bad idea at this point because they do control a large amount of Celsius tokens. But I stress, I don't think it's due to the community causing a short squeeze. I think there are actors behind the scenes that are doing it, just like they did it with Terra. They're doing it with Celsius, and who knows what else they're going to be doing it with, right? So just be careful. But there's still a lot of reconstruction plans being proposed. Will they work? I don't know. I guess we'll see. And same thing with Voyager. I have not heard anything else about Voyager, unfortunately. So no new developments at this point, but I will let you guys know. Again, stressful. I'm going to stress that be careful with your funds. If you don't know how to use a different wallet that's outside exchange, make sure you do so. I mean, there's so many of them, and it's very easy to understand, right? So safeguard your crypto at this point. Now, as for some other Bitcoin, wait, before I get to it, what's US is, Dow's negative 500, NASDAQ is down 200, not looking good today so far. All right, now as for Bitcoin, there are still, of course, many, many positive things. Ark Invest is kind of neutral right now. Long term, very positive. Cathie Wood, very big bull. But she says short term, she's looking at some of these on-chain metrics to confirm that we have found the bottom, which, again, is almost impossible. You can't predict bottom to the T. You can only guess, right? And you look at some of these metrics, so many metrics and models are showing that we are at bottom or very near bottom, right? But that's what Cathie Wood thinks. But if you look at some of these other ones, for example, just measuring Bitcoin tourists, new retail investors, basically they have all left, right? You look at the activity, and it's really, really low. And that's because what you're ended up with is just long-term holders. Once retail investors leave, you have holders that are just sitting with their Bitcoin and DCAing. That's why activity is low. So there's many activity measurements that show, retail investors are already long gone. Now you're just down to the true holders. And guess what? The true holder is still going up. Non-zero addresses continue to go up and up and up. There's no deviation, no dip. Here's one that's above 1, and you can see how huge that climbed. Ever since Bitcoin fell down below 30,000 to our 20,000 mark, you could see there's a huge jump. addresses over 1 Bitcoin. So obviously, a lot of people that's been waiting to get or become a one coiner, they decide to take advantage. I mean, that's an enormous jump. You could see from June to July. That's that's almost 50,000 new addresses, right? Although that's a huge jump, 50,000 people, compared to 8 billion is still minute. It's nothing, right? But these are the ones that will be gaining when things come up. And you have other things that's very positive, like Lightning Network, that's also very, very positive and still growing, right? The capacity. And lastly, this measures also the unrealized loss, which right now is very heavy. We are at 50%, okay? And whenever you have a ton of addresses and people that have this much unrealized loss, that usually means that capitulation is near, right? So that, I would say, I'll just throw that in there as another bottom indicator. But right now, of course, Bitcoin is still fighting an uphill battle because of this Wall Street not looking good. And lastly, point about Peter Schiff. And I'm not going to make fun of Peter Schiff. I actually really do like Peter Schiff. But I think this could be the turning point. And he could finally understand why so many people believe in Bitcoin. And maybe he will turn pro-Bitcoin, although it's unlikely, but maybe more likely now because he no longer owns his bank, right? He posted this himself that, that's actually from yesterday, that Puerto Rico, because he resides in Puerto Rico, he has a bank in Puerto Rico, and due to regulatory minimums that, all right, let me just read this whole thing instead of just kind of going over it. Here we go. Due to no evidence of crime, Puerto Rico regulators closed my bank anyways for net capital issues. Well, that's a concern. Rather than allow sale to highly qualified buyers, promising to inject capital far in excess of regulatory minimums. As a result, accounts are frozen. Customers may lose money. So basically, he couldn't meet regulatory minimums, okay? And Puerto Rico decided to take it over and basically shut it down, right? Rather than allow him to sell it to someone else that could save it, they decided to close it down, right? And unfortunately, this is the same situation as the lending companies out there right now. There's probably a bank run. Too many people got fearful, decided to withdraw their money, and unfortunately, it has been taken away from them. Now, this bank, as far as I know, is not FDIC insured. So customers, all of his customers that have their accounts that are locked in this bank could be losing that, right? And Peter Schiff continues today saying that, the bank had no debt, loans, or cash, right? And this buyer was willing to pay, $17 million for the bank and another $7 million new capital, right? But basically what I'm trying to say is Peter Schiff, I think, now kind of understands what Anthony Pompliano has been telling him for so long, all right, about personal freedom, about Bitcoin and how no one could take that away from you, right? One of the big reasons why so many people love Bitcoin is because they're starting to come to like the idea that you can't have a bank closure. You can't have a middleman that's going to stop transactions. Anyone with a wallet could be holding $1 billion worth of Bitcoin in their phone, in a USB stick, can transport it anywhere in the world, right? You could carry it anywhere in the world. And you don't have to worry about any third party, getting in your business, right? And be able to do stuff like this, right? This is one of the things that not only Anthony Pompliano has been telling him, but Michael Saylor's been saying it. Peter Schiff has always trolled Michael Saylor due to some of the stuff he's been saying, right? So bottom line is this. Maybe he'll come around to Bitcoin after this and realize why so many people, continue to believe in Bitcoin and why, Bitcoin represents freedom. Maybe. All right, that is pretty much it. As for entire crypto market cap, Bitcoin dominance is still holding about the same point. You have a few projects in the green. I did notice that Matic is having a good recovery. Actually, yesterday it was up like 16%. Today's up 6%. So Matic's one of the more oversold L2s out there, but there's still a few that's still in the green right now, even with today's drop. Let's see where the markets end up today. All right, let's do some Q&A. Like right now, Minnesota is asking, would you rather have exchanges or Federal Reserve to rely on? I mean, here's the thing. You don't have to. Well, if you don't trust the Federal Reserve, then obviously you go with Bitcoin. But as for exchanges, I know there's so many of you guys that use exchanges right now, right? And that's fine because DEXs are out there, but DEXs sometimes just don't have the pair or don't have the liquidity. So you're relying on centralized exchanges. I would say even the biggest ones like Coinbase, Binance, FTX, even though there's very little chance, almost no chance for them to go under, it's okay to be safe, right? And for everyone else out there, for all the exchanges else out there, right, you got to be safe. So you can simply make trades and then withdraw so that you're keeping everything on your own wallet or as much of it as you can, right? So that you don't have to rely on them to safeguard your crypto. I think right now that's the way to do it. So there's still a lot of exchanges out there that people are making trades on. But you know what? Just be safe about it. I mean, literally anyone could download a non-custodial wallet on your phone within a minute, right? Like Trust Wallet. You could download that on your phone and utilize that, and it takes no money and basically no time. You just have to learn how to use it, and all you have to learn really is how to send and receive crypto and how to have enough, ETH on hand, to pay for gas fees. That's really it, right? But but for those of you guys that want true security, look into a hardware wallet like a Ledger or Trezor. How do we know that these ledgers still can't get your keys? Ledger doesn't have open source. Just because it's not open source doesn't mean that they could just steal your private key. The key is something that you need to protect, right? And it generates it. I mean, it generates it, upon creation of it, and then it's shipped off to whoever that buys it, right? I mean, if you wanted to go all conspiracy theorist and you want to put on your tinfoil hat, I mean, maybe they have a backdoor or something that could look into your keys, but that's pretty far-fetched, I think. Yeah. Now, if you buy, let's say, a Ledger or a Trezor from Amazon or eBay, the chances of that are actually pretty high because there has been cases where hackers would buy Ledgers and Trezors. They would open it up, put on some malware or whatever, then rewrap it, and then sell it, right? So that is a possibility. So I would say highly recommended that if you're going to be purchasing one of these hardware wallets, to do so directly from the manufacturer and not from like a third party like Amazon or eBay, because you just don't know. Don't support rats. Not your keys, not your crypto, period. I mean, that pretty much it. Yes. And I've been experimenting with Arculus, just so you guys know. They're up and coming, and they're kind of like a half-half. They're like a mobile wallet, but more secured, almost like a hardware wallet because they have this credit card thing, NFC card that you have to use before you can send crypto. So it adds another layer. It's like a 3-factor authentication, not 2-factor, right? So, but it's not a true cold wallet. Binance should be okay, hopefully. I do think Binance is okay. I mean, CZ is no dummy. I do think Binance is okay. I think FTX is going to be okay, obviously, because they're trying to buy out all these projects. They seem to have unlimited amount of cash. So I think FTX is going to be okay, too. And I honestly think someone like Coinbase is okay. I mean, they have been around for so long. They have so much crypto on hand. They're still collecting tons of fees. So I think they're going to be okay, too. There's a lot of big major exchanges out there. I think it's going to be okay, but You never know. Just be careful. What about MetaMask? MetaMask also is non-custodial wallet, although MetaMask has received some FUD recently because they could block off which countries you send and receive from. Primarily send. They could block, like if you're trying to send to someone in Russia or somewhere that they deem not okay, they could somehow stop that. So that's not good because people thought that MetaMask, the company that created MetaMask Consensus, made it into like a open source non-custodial browser wallet, right? But they still have a lot of control over it. However, it does give you recovery phrase, and you can get your private key into the wallet if anything should happen, right? So it does act that way, but I don't know. They somehow have control of who you could send to. So it's not 100% open. Raquel says KuCoin is fine. I've been watching and withdrawing different cryptos. I think KuCoin is fine. I think someone just kind of spread rumors about KuCoin. They've been around for a long time, and they have become a favorite for so many. But recent times they've been limiting a lot of U.S. customers, to say the least. Right, the withdrawal limits have decreased substantially, and there are certain coins on a platform they'll say you can't trade them in the U.S. So they've been a little bit more restrictive recently. So, but I do think that they're probably going to survive. Nvidia, Pava says Nvidia all-time low again. DCA. No, for me, I'm staying away from Nvidia and AMD because ETH is getting closer and closer to moving to proof of stake. And that means the demand for graphics cards is going to drop substantially. It probably already dropped because of the market downturn, but it's going to drop a lot more. The next few years, there's not going to be any demand for GPUs. Outside the gamers, they're fine, but most of the demand, I don't know most, but a substantial demand was from the miners, and that's not going to be the case anymore. So yeah, so that's why I wouldn't be DCing into Nvidia or AMD. Is Crypto.com's DeFi wallet safe? I'm not familiar with that one, Andre. But if it does give you a recovery phrase, right? Like a 10-word or 20-word recovery phrase, then most likely it's a non-custodial wallet, but I'm not familiar with it. I have to look at it. What happens if Satoshi appears out of nowhere? Nothing, really. The only thing that would happen is if he starts withdrawing from his wallet, but outside of that, nothing. Jolamas, I'm buying stocks for my weekly 100 DCA with only the remainder, roughly 40 or 30, getting put into crypto. Do you hate me? No. I mean, 40 out of 100 is still 40%. I mean, if you're saying you're putting like $4 into crypto out of the 100, well, then that's very little. But, if you look at, like right now, there's a lot of bargains everywhere, even with stocks. So that's okay. It's your money. You do what you want with it. Let's see. Will Bitcoin crash below 15K? I think it's unlikely. It could happen, but I think it's unlikely. Welcome from Belgium, Yaftel. I'm sorry. Johnny 5, getting a morning pump in hopes of rubbing. Okay, I'm not just going to repeat what you're saying anymore. Not favorite non-custodial wallet. Yeah, I've already said it's Trust Wallet, Johnny. I like mobile wallets. I have hardware wallets. I'm starting to use them, but I primarily use mobile wallets because they're just really safe, they're really easy to use, really easy to get access to, fairly secure. So, yeah. Coinbase wallet, someone asked, is also decent. I've used it before. I don't really use it all that often. I just have some coins stored on there. Coinbase wallet also is non-custodial wallet. And if you happen to have a Coinbase account, it links up to it pretty well. Supposedly you can transfer directly from Coinbase to Coinbase wallet. And that's what they want to do anyways. They're supposedly Coinbase is upgrading Coinbase wallet with all these new features. So I have not seen them yet. Bottoms always come in twos and has a surprise in the middle. Okay. Have you guys asked about Exodus wallet? Exodus is safe only if you use Treasure. If you're just storing on Exodus itself, then no. So I've used Exodus before, not the safest wallet, and I have been hacked before. Fortunately, it was only like $700, but I say no. But you can use Treasure with Exodus, so that would be safe. But as for itself, I would say no. Are you increasing your DCA amount in crypto after this Q2 stock earnings crash? I'm ready to increase my DCA by 200% after poor earnings report. I mean, I haven't like calculated if it's like 100% more, 200% more like you, but I just been buying the dips. In fact, I bought some yesterday, so I'm just gonna continue to DCA. Really, we might be stuck at these levels for quite some time, and we could get lower again, right? But right now, it does seem like we're slowly but surely holding ground and coming up. But right now, I do believe it's one of those times you got to take advantage. If you don't, that's fine, right? But all these previous periods where we had a bottom, we stood there for a long time. We didn't just have a V-shaped recovery out. We were there literally for months before recovery, right? And during those periods, a lot of people just didn't DCA, and they kept waiting for confirmation, and they missed out on a lot of gains. I don't want that to happen to me, so... is it possible for U.S. to do a bank run on them? Like a specific day, we all withdraw 100 from one bank. You could, but you know what's going to happen is when they run out of money, they're just going to tell you that you can't withdraw, just like everything else out there. I mean, bank runs happen, and that's why the U.S. implemented FDIC insurance. Now, what if FDIC can't pay out? Well, I think that's impossible because they could always just print more money. So that's how they could guarantee that. But FDIC insurance was up from $100,000 to $250,000 in 2008. It was 2008 or 2009 for that same reason. Because of the banks all collapsing one after another, everyone was withdrawing out all their money. And it was said that if there was no plug to that, if the withdrawals kept going, it could have basically destroyed all banks literally forever. So that's why they implement FDIC insurance. They bumped it up from 100 to 50. I remember it was like 100. And then that kind of plugged the hole. But yeah, it was implemented to stop bank runs. And now I guess you could just, they could just stop withdrawals altogether too if they wanted to. Any plans on buying Luna Classic? No plans at all. I got burned too badly by Terra. I had enough of Luna and UST and wishful thinking. Do Kwon, he will be arrested. Our authorities are investigating. And at this point, I think it's just, I don't want to be part of that. I don't know who's going to be running things after the whole team gets put under investigation and possibly put in jail. Did you see Hedera linked to Google? I mean, Google's been sitting on their board, not their console for quite some time. Doesn't really mean anything. They haven't taken advantage of anything. They haven't really contributed anything. FDIC insurance is like 120 billion. That's not gonna cover anything. Look, if it ever runs into a situation, they'll just up that. You know, it's the Fed. They could do whatever they want. They could print unlimited amount of money. Come on, they just printed 4 trillion out of the last 2 years, right? Within the last 2 years. You think Bybit is safe? I mean, right now, I just don't think so. I don't think any exchange is all that safe. It's not like 100%. So, you know, I can't say for sure if Bybit is safe. So just be careful. I was watching the other day because my kids love watching Mr. Beast. I saw the latest one. He tried to fast for 30 days, and he quit after 2 weeks. Not that he wanted to quit; he was kind of forced to quit after 2 weeks. I was thinking, yeah, I should fast until Bitcoin is back above 30,000, but that may be a long time, and I may die before that happens. So no, I'm not going to do that. Well then, let's return a favor and pick a bank, name the day. Let's give the bank a taste of their own medicine. James, that'll only work if all of us are, have accounts within a bank. It'll be hard to coordinate that, but I don't know if it's good to cause a bank run on a bank. If we did it on JP Morgan, they go under. That would be disastrous. That would be way worse. So I don't know if that's a good idea. Is PayPal safe to keep my crypto? I mean, you would figure PayPal's safe, right? They've been around for so long. I don't think they're going to become insolvent anytime. But again, try to safeguard your own crypto if you can. NJ Truck It. Thank you. Atomic Wallet, Kelly. I've used Atomic Wallet slightly, but there were problems with it. I forgot. It's been a long time, so I can't say I highly recommend Atomic Wallet. I remember there were issues, but I can't remember what. I don't remember what they were. GI Chow Time, welcome. MYR. Thank you for that. Just want more vet. Good. Why is Cardano not pumping? Cardano has been holding relatively well. So it's not pumping, but it's not dumping either. Any hope for Voyager right now? Yeah, FTX is Voyager's hope. So if Voyager gets bought out by FTX, maybe FTX can make everyone on Voyager whole. I mean, that's the best case scenario. Yeah. Is it safer play to buy Bitcoin from Treasure directly? I mean, you don't have to utilize their own, exchange. You can buy from anywhere and just transfer to it afterwards. It's a little bit more hassle, but you could do it. Diamond Sauce says Atomic and their oracles were off. They fixed that. All right. Fasting 36 hours and doing keto until BTC reaching 40K. That would drop a lot of weight. I have $1,000 worth of XRP in Vauld. When do you think they'll start allowing withdrawals again? I honestly don't know. I honestly can't say. I think right now they're having withdrawal issues, bank run issues. After about 200 million, they stop withdrawals. So I think they're going to try to figure out how to get more liquidity. They may sell themselves. They may get a big line of credit. Maybe they get one from Coinbase because Coinbase is an early investor in Vauld. So I don't know. I'm hoping they can pull through. I'm hoping they're a small company, but they're suffering the same thing as all the bigger players right now. CZ has been very quiet. He has mentioned they're looking into 150 potential. I mean, he hasn't made any big headline news recently. FTX have. FTX been trying to buy everyone, including Robinhood. So I don't know what CZ is planning. But maybe he's planning something big. Really big. All right, guys. That is it. Today, U.S. market seems to be getting worse and worse. Now we're at minus 590. We started at minus 300. So not too good today, but primarily mostly Dow, though. More than NASDAQ, which is surprising because usually it's always NASDAQ sells off more. So NASDAQ holding a little bit stronger. Bitcoin is still at 19.4. You know, Bitcoin wants to come back. There's many, many, many reasons why it should come back, right? So many oversold models and indicators and trend lines and all this stuff. But right now it's facing some very, very, very strong headwinds, and that is the U.S. economy and inflation and Powell and everyone else, right? But not time to give up, time to stay strong, buckle down, and focus on the future. And maybe, hopefully, after what happened with Peter Schiff, he now understands why so many people love Bitcoin and why so many people are turning to Bitcoin. And maybe this is when we see him finally make the move. One can hope. All right, smash the like, subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right, have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.